Okay, 10.1.1, the official beginning of Unit 10. Previous lesson, we really focused on completing the square. Now we're going to realize how it's applied to circles. So, this is not a brand new lesson as far as this goes. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. That's if the center is 0, 0, because there's no shift here, no shift here. You can see down here, this is going to be a shift and a shift, but we'll get to that in a minute. Start you out with the basics. Center 0, 0. So you can see this, no shift, no shift. It says graph it. So that's telling us that the center is 0, 0 for this one. And if it's x squared plus y squared equals r squared, r is the circle's radius, that's telling you that r squared equals 16. Just take the square root of both sides. R is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 4. 4. And just do your best trying to draw a good circle. That wasn't great, but you get the idea. All right, what's up with this? That's not a perfect square root. Don't panic. The center is still 0, 0. R squared equals 27. Take the square root of both sides, and I know a lot of students would instinctively break it down into this, which is not wrong, but if the instructions are to graph, we need to know what this is, which is going to be the same as this. So we might as well just take the square root of 27 and get 5, we'll just round that to approximately 5.2. So, get out this other marker here. So my center is 0, 0, 5.2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just a little out, 4, 5, a little out, little bit more, and there. That is expanding the circle's radius. Okay, let's move on to the next one. It's going to be a little bit more challenging because the centers are being shifted. So there's your generic formula. Don't think they always have to be minuses. That's just the generic form of all circles. So first thing we got to do is find the center. Well, based on our previous lessons, this is going to be right 2, and this is going to be down 1. So that means our center is 2, negative 1. So 2 to the right, down 1, there's our new center. So then we know this is r squared from this. So if r squared equals 9, take the square root of both sides, we get r is 3. So we go out 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3. 3. Do your best job. There we go. Some of you are thinking, well, where's completing the square come into this? Well, here we go. So now, we've got this messed up thing. We have to make it look like this. In other words, we need to create perfect square trinomials. Perfect square trinomials. There's only one way to do that, and that's by completing the square. You can see we got an x squared and there's no other x's. So that just means that's going to sit by itself. Now let's concentrate on this. Plus y squared plus 6y, here it comes, equals 27 plus blank. Now we want to get a perfect square trinomial in the y world. Take half of that. What's half of that? 3. What do you got to do with that? Square it. That's 9, but if I put a 9 on that side, which wasn't there initially, I got to keep it balanced by putting a 9 on that side. Now I know this is a perfect square trinomial that can factor into something that looks like this. This is by itself, so x squared plus, what does that factor into? Y plus 3 squared equals 36. Well, now I'm going to find the center. No shift there, so 0. That's left 3, so negative 3. R squared is 36, so I can just see that R is 6. Plot the center. And now move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. And 6. And again, just try your best to draw a nice circle. All right, there we go. So the last one was pretty user-friendly. Let's check this one out. As you can see, we've got some X's, we've got some Y's. We know this is going to somehow relate to our radius, so we're going to kick that over. Now I'm going to rewrite this as x squared minus 3x plus space plus y squared plus 6y plus space equals 8 plus space. Well, hate those odd numbers, but you just got to deal with them. Take half of that. Don't introduce decimals. That'd be negative 3 halves. But now you got to square it. So that'd be 9/4. As soon as I do that, I got to add it to that side. Over here, a little easier. Half of 6 is 3. Square it, 9. Now I got to add 9 there. What does this turn into? Well, if you remember completing the squares, this is my little clue. That's what's going to go in my binomial squared. This is easier, but there's my little clue. Plus y plus 3 squared equals, common denominator nightmare, 32/4 plus 9/4 plus 36/4. So that's 41 plus this would be 80, we might as well do it over here, 80/4, which is just 20. Now if we take a look at this, got to find our center. Now it wouldn't be a bad idea to think in terms of decimals. This is just going to be right 1.5. This is going to be down 3. So my center is 1.5 negative 3. So 1.5 down 3. Try to be pretty accurate there. Now we know r squared equals 20. That's not a perfect square root. So let's get our calculator, turn that on, take the square root of 20. We get 4.5, let's say. 4.47 is approximately 4.5. So from my center, I go 4.5. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. And there she is. Okay, must have something else in store for you here. Now I want you to know this was a 1. This was a 1. See that initially? That's what made our lives so convenient. It was pretty easy to complete the square. Now we don't have that luxury. So we're going to have to do something about that. Because they have to be a 1. That has to be a 1. That has to be a 1. Now, what I'm going to do is say, well, if that has to be a 1, then let's make it a 1. See, in an equation, you can always divide both sides by anything you want. So we're going to condense this thing. X squared, because the 3's cancel. But then 3 goes into 9 3 times. I'm going to go ahead and get prepared for the completing the square. These cancel. So plus y squared. That's a little bit of a yuck. Minus 5/3 y plus space equals, now I'm running out of space, 8 plus space plus space. So, but we already did that sort of thing, but this is positive. Take half of that, 3 halves, square it, 9/4. So we got to put a 9/4 over there. Uh-oh, how do you take half of a fraction? Well, you take half of the fraction, multiply it by a half. So you would get, I mean technically it'd be negative, but I know I'm going to square it here in a minute, but we better take care of that negative. Negative 5/6. And it is important to bring that negative along if you're going to use that little shortcut in a second, because we still have to square it. which is 2536. 2536. What does this factor into? Remember our clue. That would turn into x plus 3/2 squared plus, and then look at this crazy thing, y minus, there's our clue, 5/6 squared equals, now we got some work to do, common denominators, it's going to be 36. So, uh-oh, boy, I gave you guys a doozy. So, common denominators, we got to go 8, we got to multiply 8 by 36 to put that over 36. That's 240 plus 48, that's 248 36, yikes. Plus, got to multiply that by 9, that by 9, so that would be 81 36, and then plus 25 36. So, let's add those up so we don't make a silly mistake. 248 plus 81, enter, plus 25, enter. 354 36. All right. Well, let's first find our center. Our center, again, decimals, not a horrible thing. We're going to go left 1.5, which means negative 1.5. Then we're going to go up 5/6, which I recall is 0.83, almost 1. So it's going to be a little crazy. So we need to go left 1.5, up almost to 1. There's our new center. So now we got to take the square root of this crazy thing. Let's do that. So second square root, let's go 354 divided by 36. I could have found that decimal out first. 3.13. So a little over 3. So my radius is approximately 3.1. So I got to go from here 3.1. So that's like 0.1-ish. So then 3 more, 1, 2, 3. Now I need to go 3 from here. 1, 2, 3. 3 from here. 1, 2, 3. 3 from here. 1, 2, 3. Then 0.1, you'd hardly see that. So, there it is. That one's a little tougher. Okay, 2 more and we're done. Find the equation of a circle that has center negative 2/8. See, right away we can go, aha. So we know that's going to be x plus 2 squared. Because if it goes left 2, we compensate it by putting a plus. Plus y minus 8 squared equals r squared. Now look at this clue. So first of all, we know the center is negative 2/8. So 1, 2, 8 would be right there. So there's my negative 2/8, but it passes through 1, 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 1, 4. And there's my center, negative 2/8. So that means the circle looks something like this. I know that's not great, but you get the idea. How do we find r? Well, that's what this distance formula is going to help you with. This drawing's pretty bad, but there's my r. So there's my x1, y1. There's my x2, y2. By the way, this could be x1, y1. This could be x2, y2. It's going to figure out the distance regardless of how you label it. But here we go. We're going to plug things in our formula. So x2 would be 1 minus x1 would be negative 2 squared plus y2, 4 minus y1, 8 squared. So this is actually 1 plus 2 squared, which is 9. 4 minus 8 is negative 4 squared is 16. Now a lot of students get this far and they make a big mistake. They look at the square root of 9, they go 3, square root of 16, 4, and they say it's 7. And that's wrong. This is kind of a PEMDAS situation where you got to clean that up first. So you get the square root of 25, which is 5. Now if I put a 5 in here, that'd be another little mistake, because it's not your radius that you put here, it's your radius squared. So we got to square this, making 25. So my answer would be x plus 2 squared plus y minus 8 squared equals 25. And there's my equation with those clues. Last problem is actually a two-parter. Similar to this one. A little easier though. Find the equation of a circle with center 4, negative 8. So we're like, okay, we know part of it. It's going to be x minus 4 squared plus y plus 8 squared equals r squared. But we have part A and part B. So if we said, okay, the center's 4, negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 8 is right here. That's the center. And then it's tangent. I don't know if you recall this, but tangent back in the day of geometry is where your circle touches a line in one spot only. So it's tangent to the line x equals negative 6. Well, that is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here it is. So that means the center of your circle's here. That means right here would be like this, and you don't even need the distance formula to figure out your radius. On this problem, your radius would be, let's make sure I don't screw up, 4 right here, and this is 6 to the left, so that's a total of 10. So what am I going to put in there for part A? I'm going to put 100. So it's x minus 4 squared plus y plus 8 squared equals r squared, which is 10 squared, which is 100. Now what is this part B? Well, it's tangent to y equals 2. So now we change the problem. Y equals 2 is right here. So you got to know how to graph these y equals and x equals. So now, here's my center. If I go straight up, there's my point of tangency. So my circle is going to look like this, kind of, sort of. My radius is right here, so I just simply need to count. Well, this is 8 down, this is 2 up, and so look at what we got. We got the same radius, and so we're going to get the same thing. So there's your homework, and reach out if you have any questions. If you like the video, like and subscribe. I could go viral on this one.